Warner Music Group acquires majority stake in African music company Africori. Talk to us about this.
That's their world domination, man.
Get into it.
If you are invested in them, that's still good news. I see them innovating a bit more than Spotify, to be honest with you. Like, I see the record labels innovating or being willing to innovate a bit more than the streaming platforms, the non-blockchain based streaming platforms. So it could be good news long term for investors. Like they're trying to stay relevant in the space, continue trying to innovate, go into new markets. There are definitely sectors or different sections of Africa that are pretty heavily percentage-wise per population into crypto.
Right.
So them making this move, into a space that they may not have as much stake in before is a wise move. Just so other people can maybe start to think a little bit along the lines. You don't have to necessarily go into Africa, but just think of different markets that your music could be popular in. A lot of times for like sale purposes, you may not go into certain countries. Like, let's say you have your website, right? And if you guys have been watching the show for any period of time, you need to have a website.
Right.
Because you don't own your social media, you do own the files on your website, and you do own your email list. Now, we can add to that also that you will own your NFTs. So I think last time we were really talking about that, the NFTs weren't as big, but those are the things that you will own. So if anybody tries to come for your social media or whatever, you can still have some equity in something.
Yes.
But let's say that you have your website and you want to sell some merch. You obviously want to market to areas that will be able to return the capital on that. So depending on how you're selling the merch or what you're doing, you select your locations differently. If you need help going through that or thinking through it, we do have free consultations. I know we don't mention them on here as much, but we do have free consultations. You can call us on the phone and get a consultation, or you can book one, and we can walk you through which platform is going to be the best to market through. Because there's little nuances that you learn whenever you spend the difference between spending $5,000 on marketing versus like millions of dollars on marketing is that you learn a bunch of nuances.
100%.
So you might think that like both Facebook and Instagram and YouTube can reach Africa, but what's going to be the real difference whenever you spend the money there? So that's what a consultation can get you, and spending the money with somebody or a company that spent it there. That's a big benefit of it. But the other way that you can kind of copy the label strategy in this is to look for quick growing segments, like fast growing segments. In the last, I want to say about 5 to 10 years, there's been like a music boom or a boost out of Africa with the Afro beats, like Afro pop. Those have gotten a good deal of attention. It's not just on Spotify, as we learned. It's also on Audiomack in some countries. So just it doesn't have to be that you're an African artist or Afrobeat artist. Just look for the pockets in the world, because you can reach them now. Before, you had to go get distribution and all this other stuff. You don't have to do that now. Especially with these NFTs. Like, there's people that can make the NFTs and it pops somewhere else.
Crazy.
And not that this happens to everybody, but you could legitimately be a millionaire like in a couple weeks or a week or something. Now, learn what to do with that so you don't go blow it all.
Right.
But you could. There's stories popping up all the time about so-and-so has $1 million NFT collection. So look for those pockets in the world that you get the good opportunities first before anybody else. This could be, we were talking about children's songs. It could be children's songs on another episode. We were talking about
Facts.
that. Could be a genre that's not as popular in the United States.
100%.
There's people that even in other countries, they just take existing ideas that are working in the United States and just implement them in their country
100%.
before it gets there. And then
right.
they have a bunch of $1 million businesses, or sometimes $1 billion businesses. This is a fairly common practice, to be honest with you. Like taking Uber, for instance, or Airbnb or whatever. And if it's not big in another country, somebody just go and rebrand it, or Amazon or whatever, just rebrand it for their location before the U.S. based company can get over there. And whoever started this label, it's likely what they did. They saw a model. I don't know that for sure, but they saw a model, and now they have one of the largest record labels in the world that bought a good percentage of their company.
Yes, indeed.
So you guys can definitely copy that strategy and put it into your music business or any other business that you're working on, to be honest.
Yes, sir.